So today's assignment is going to be to create the fins for your pop bottle rocket. And of course, fins kind of stabilize the rocket in flight, kind of keep it on a straight path, straight trajectory. So we need to create some fins. Here's some that I did previously. We're going to start from scratch. So I don't want to influence your decisions. I do want to give you a little bit of a introduction to this. So I'm just going to undo. So I'm back to my pop bottle here. And somebody's going to say, well, how do I attach a fin on there onto that round surface? I don't really know how to do that. But if you think about it, if I turn this pop bottle like this, and what do you look at? What are you seeing? Oh, look, that looks like a fin. If I were to put 4 fins on there, wouldn't it just look like those 2 sketch planes there? It sure would. So I'm just going to rotate a little bit here, this direction, and then I'm going to think about it. I'm going to pick one of these planes. I'm going to draw on it, and I'm going to pick this front plane, I think.
Mr. Hartline, real
Yes?
quick, which side of the bottle is supposed to be the top?
Oh, good question. Good question. We're going to put air into the bottom here, into the spout. So that is going to be the bottom. So let me see if you can see that.
Thank you.
Yeah, here you go. The bottom of the rocket is where the cap is. So it's basically upside down from the way you would normally hold the bottle, right? This would be the bottom and this would be the top. But when we're making the rocket, we actually want to put the cap end on the bottom. Okay, yeah, so look at it kind of like this. And actually in the last class, I drew it upside down and we had to flip it, which was another exercise, but it was fun. Okay, so I'm going to put the fin, I'm going to draw right on this front plane. So I'm going to start a sketch, and I am going to pick a sketch plane. I'm going to pick front, and then if I right mouse click, I'm going to view normal to sketch plane. That's just going to straighten everything up for me. So I'm drawing right on there. So I know my fin has to be somewhere in here. This is the bottom, so I'm going to start here, draw here somewhere. But where do I start? Well, I'm going to put some dimensions on later. I want you to dimension it, but to get through this really quickly, I'm just going to sketch something random, and you can kind of get the idea of it, and you'll put more detail into yours. But what I want to start out with is where can I attach this, and I need to use some existing geometry. So if you hear me say the word use, you think, oh, there is a use command, right? Yeah, there sure is. It's right up here. So if I pick this use command, it's going to think about that plane right there. See that plane? I'm sketching on plane sketch 2. Anything that intersects that plane, anywhere along there that intersects, I can use that geometry. So you see when I have the use command enabled, and I kind of scroll down, and whenever I hit some geometry, see that line? It's lighting up. It's actually the intersection of my cylinder and that sketch plane. So it's creating a line right there. So if I go back, right mouse click. I swear this right mouse click. There it is. View normal. Okay, so now I'm back in there. So now you can see if I use and I come down and I click that. So I basically am just starting with some existing geometry. It's going to attach it right to that line already. I'm going to use that geometry. Okay, now I'm just going to start sketching. So I'm going to grab my line command. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to kind of make it coincident with that line. And I'm just going to draw a line up here. And I don't know, maybe a little bit. No, I think I'll make a curve there. I'm going to start another line. And remember, I'm just starting out here. I'm going to add some dimensions. I'm just trying to rough something in here. Maybe one like that. I kind of know I need something over here, so I'm going to make another line here, like that. Okay. Now I want to add some curves to it. And I don't have to have curves. I could make all straight lines if I wanted to. I could make all curves. I'm just trying to show you some different ideas. I'm going to pick this 3-point arc. I'm going to attach it here, and I'm going to scroll up here, and I'm going to attach it there and get a nice smooth curve. And I'll just kind of play with this a little bit till I get it right about where I want it. There. I could always change the radius later. I'm going to like make it 1.1 just for the fun of it. Okay. And then I think I'm going to make this rounded down here too. I could bring this out to a point, a sharp corner. I could make a flat corner like that. I could come straight across. I think I'm going to do another arc here. I'm just going to do an arc. And this one I want really stretched out as far as I can go. So right about there looks good. Okay. Now, so there's my fin profile. That's the side view of the profile, the kind of the outline of it. It's the outline of my fin. Now, something I want to notice, if I just undo this for a second, do you see how all this area is white in here, all this white area? But the moment that I attach this arc, the whole thing will turn gray. So if you watch, click, and then when I set that arc, there it is. Do you see how that area turned gray? You need to make sure that does that because that's telling you that you have an uninterrupted, complete profile. In other words, this profile now can hold water. It is not leaking anywhere out. So I've got a line across the bottom, across here. It's a complete sketch. That's good. All right, so when I have that complete sketch and the gray area shown here, I can click the checkbox. And if I look, now there's a very paper thin sketch there, right? So you're like, well, I need to extrude next. I need to extrude that fin and give it some thickness. And remember what we talked about, the thickness of your fin is that foam core material, 0.2 or 200 thousandths thick. Those are the same thing, 0.2 inches or 200 thousandths of an inch thick. So I'm going to do an extrude, and you're going to say, well, what about if I just do, one side, scoot it over? What am I going to do? You can extrude in two directions, and this is the perfect place to do it because my sketch is right down the center line of that bottle, right? So I'd really like to have my fin a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. How can I do that? Pretty easy with the extrude tool. I'm going to go up here. There's my sketch. And something else I want to mention that you can do when you really get a complex drawing and you're trying to bounce around, what is this, what's this, what's this, or you go over here and you're looking for something. You see where I said sketch 2? I can rename anything over here, right? I can rename this. I'm going to rename this sketch 2, right click, rename, and I'm going to put fin sketch profile. So, and I'm going to hit enter. Now I know whenever I'm looking for something, I'm coming back, where's that fin? Where's that fin? There it is, okay? Just helps me to remember where things are, kind of organize things, especially as your drawings get more complex. So, now that I have that profile, I can do an extrude with this. So I see that gray area, I'm going to extrude it. Pick the extrude tool. I'm going to slide this up here so I can see a little bit better. I want a new part. I don't want to add to the existing. This is not part of the bottle. It's a completely separate thing. So if it's on add, click on new. And I want a solid. So what is the face? That's an easy one, right? I'm going to click right on that face. I'm going to get all of that. Now it automatically kind of defaults to a 1-inch blind depth. That's what always pops up. Well, that doesn't look so good. That's not what I want at all, right? I really only want this to be 200 thousandths thick. So I could do 0.2. And there's my 200 thousandths, right? But look, I'm off center. I'm not down the center of this. Really, I'd like to scoot that over. I could do that. I could finish this extrusion and I could then move it or transform it over. But the nice thing about this extrude tool is I can extrude in two directions. So if I just go down here and pick second end position, you see how one arrow is here? Click second end position. It's going to give me the opportunity to extrude in both directions. From that plane, I can go to the left and to the right. Now it's way too big, and if you think about it, I want a total of 200 thousandths. So if I make this one 0.1, 100 thousandths, 0.100, and if I make this one 0.100, 100 thousandths, then together the total of those two will be 200 thousandths. And now look how cool this is it's actually centered in there. Now all I got to do now is get rid of that, and there we go. Now it's better. And now I'm going to look at this solid. I'm going to add material. I want a new part. I'm going to use the face of that sketch plane, and I'm going to go one direction. I'm going to go 0.1 inch, and I'm going to go 0.1 inch in the opposite direction. Okay. So I got second in position, 2 opposing extrusions at the same time. Fantastic. Click OK, and then you can see now that fin is right down the center of the bottle. If I kind of take a left view, you can see that center line. Let's go up and see if we can see that plane. If you look at that plane, there we go. I light that plane up. That fin is perfectly centered. So 100 thousandths to the right and 100 thousandths to the left. The total is 200 thousandths. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I got one fin done. Nice, very nice, very nice. But will it fly with one fin? No. I can make a shark, right? Or a dolphin, but it doesn't make a very good rocket. So how do I make more fins? And how do I evenly space them? And how do I make it really cool? I use a circular pattern tool. So I like this fin, and if you look over here, you can see it's part 2. I'm gonna do some more renaming. I'm gonna call this fin 1. Okay? And I'm going to call this, just for the heck of it, I'm going to rename this to bottle. I'm just cleaning things up here. This isn't entirely necessary. It's not going to make your bottle any better. It's not going to make, it's just going to help you to learn to organize things. Okay, so now if I hover over this, I can see, oh, that's the bottle, that's the fin. And if I get a lot more parts in here and I start looking for things, a really complex model, I can start to organize things in my mind, right? In that extrude, I could change that. I could rename that to fin extrusion, right? Oops, I didn't want to do that. I just want to rename it, not edit it. Fin extrusion. Okay, just cleaning things up a little bit. How do we make more fins, Heartline? Come on, we want to know. Use the pattern tool. Now, some of these, you can see these tools have different drop-down menus, right? So if you zoom out a little bit, you can probably see more and more. But if you're zoomed in, because you like to see things up close, some of these commands get lost. So I might have to look around here. Is it this one? No, that's fillet. How about this one? Oh, there we go. Circular pattern. So I've got a linear pattern, circular. I've got curved. I got mirror. I want circular pattern. Okay. It's going to create multiple instances of parts, faces, or features uniformly around an axis. Select the parts, faces, or features to pattern, select the axis, specify the angle, and specify the number of instances. This is going to be awesome. Circular pattern. First off, I want a new pattern. Yes, I want this to be a new part. I want it to be its own unique part. And I want to make sure you're patterning a part, because if I just wanted a feature or a face, I could do all those. So sometimes if it's not working right for you, just make sure you're picking the right thing. And yes, I definitely want to pattern fin number 1, which is a part. Okay, I'm going to make it new, and I'm going to pick the entities. So I'm just going to come over here, yeah, this, or I can select it from down here. I can pick it here, or I can pick right on the object. Now the axis, right? This is where it's going to revolve. Where's the center line? Well, the center line is actually where those two planes meet. It's really the center of the bottle, right? If I imagine for a minute that fin and that fin and that fin, here's my axis of the rotation, my axis of the patterns right there. So I can really click any circular feature that's concentric with that center line. So I'm just going to pick here, and then I can pick any of these really. I'm going to come clear out here on the end because I know that that one is exact. So I'm going to click that, and boom, that's it. It makes the other 3 for me. Now, suppose I didn't want 4 fins. Suppose I only wanted 3. I just come down here and I change the instance count. That's how many total. So there are 4 total. Say I only want 2. 2. There we go. And it's equally spacing them. Okay. So it's putting them at equal space, so 180 degrees and 180 degrees. If I did 3 and hit enter, I'll get 3 equally spaced fins. So 120 degrees, 120 degrees, 120 degrees. I'm filling up that 360. I could put in 4, I could put in 5, I could put in 8. Now, I don't know. Maybe that's going to fly, maybe not. But you can see I can just change this instant count, and I can increase the number of fins on here. So I I probably wouldn't be able to fit that many. And remember, I got a 6x9 piece of material, so I probably wouldn't be able to fit that many fins, but I think 3 looks pretty good, or 4, right? And so when you're happy with the number of fins and the arrangement of them, then you're just going to go ahead and click the green and white checkbox and OK, and now I have 3 fins. And if you look over here, I've got fin 1, and then it created new parts for fin 2 and fin 3. And I could rename those if I want to be the fin names. You do not have to worry about the nose cone today. We're not going to do that. That is actually for Friday. I'll show you one more thing, because this happened in first period. I got in a hurry. I drew the fins backwards. So if you do this and you want to flip your fins, you don't have to start over. Okay? So imagine, just for a moment, imagine that these fins are on backwards, upside down. And if I want to flip those fins, it's pretty easy. I'm just going to go back to my sketch. Okay? Where is that sketch? Oh yeah, remember I named it Fin Sketch Profile. I'm going to edit it. Okay, there it is. I'm going to choose the front so I can look at it straight on. Get this out of the way. All right, so imagine for a minute that I just wanted to flip the fin 180 degrees. I want it to be over here instead. Pretty easy. I need a mirror command, and I need a mirror line. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a line, and I'm just going to draw a line from right here straight up, and it's going to be basically my mirror. Hit escape. I'm going to change it to construction just so I can remember that's not a part of the it's not a part of the geometry. It's just a mirror line. Okay, so I've got the fin and I've got a mirror line that's going to flip it across that. The symmetry is going to be across this line. So now I go to mirror tool, which the mirror tool I can't remember, so I'm just going to have to look for it. I think it's in here. Yeah, there it is, mirror. Okay, select the mirror line, follow the instructions, click that one. Now select the entities to be mirrored. Just going to scroll around a little bit here. I'm just going to do a window, and I'm going to do this right here and catch that. Boom. So, and it automatically flips it for me. Fantastic. Now I just flipped it. In case I had done it backwards, I just flipped that. And then I'm going to say, yeah, that's exactly kind of what I wanted. But I'm going to get rid of my old one first. So if I turn off the mirror command, and then I just go start selecting these, delete, click, 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 delete. A little bit cumbersome, but I'm just clicking these one at a time and deleting them. And I don't need the mirror line. Ooh, put that back. I don't need the mirror line anymore. When things are not dimensioned, they're not constrained, so I can actually move that. I don't want to do that. And click and delete. Okay, so now I have the fin reversed. I just mirrored it, put it backwards, okay? And it looks like, is there a tiny, no, there's a tiny little gap there. Good, I don't have any interference there. And I'm gonna accept that. And so you can see that just by changing, now the fins are upside down. This is no good. My bottle rocket is not going to work that way. But you can see when I changed the original fin, when I flipped the profile, I mirrored it, it automatically updated all the other fins because those other fins were patterns, a circular pattern of the original. So I changed the original, it changes the others. Kind of nice, right? And if I just say, oh, I didn't really want that backwards, undo, and there they are the correct way. So now my fins are back in the correct orientation. Okay, that was a whole bunch of talking. Anybody have any questions on that so far? Any questions on any of that? So the next step, you're not going to screenshot this just yet. I want a screenshot of the fin drawing, okay? A drawing of the fin. So remember, click on fin. Remember, I've got my parts over here, and if I want to add a drawing, just come on down here to the plus sign, insert new element, and I'm going to create a drawing. And remember the different sheet sizes. I like the B size sheet. That's 11 by 17. Click on that. No views to start, and OK. And it's going to add that. And remember, sometimes this takes a while, and sometimes it pops right up. That was awesome. It popped right up. And it's automatically going to say, what do you want to put in this drawing? Well, I don't want the bottle. I just want a fin, so I'm just going to pick this one. I only need one. All these are the same. Fin 1, part 3, part 4, they're all the same. Click 1, and I'm going to insert it right there. And then I'm going to make, that's my front view. I'm going to make a right side view. And then I can insert another projected view. Projected means I'm going to project it upwards. Click on the front and projected view. There we go. And scroll upward. And there's my edge view, which would be the top. So I've got a front, a right side, and a top view. And now I need some dimensions. So I can click over to the dimension tool and just start dimensioning the appropriate dimensions. Okay, so that's 1.661. Maybe I want to dimension this angle, so I click this one and then this one, and that gives me an angle 24 degrees. Maybe I also want to click this angle and get that angle 60 degrees. I probably want to dimension this radius and this radius, and I probably need an overall dimension from here to here. Oops, not there. Let's do this like this. Dimension, let's just pick the endpoint and this line. There we go. All right. Don't forget you need the thickness. This should be 200 thousandths if you did it right. So if I click here and here, yep, there we go, 200 thousandths, 0.2, so my foam's right. Don't forget, if I put the thickness in here, I don't need it up here because this is the same. So I don't really need anything more. Maybe I want it overall, but go through your progression there and make sure that you've got all your dimensions. Remember how I did that before, is I just kind of traced around. Do I have that dimension? Is that dimension? You know, I might want to put a dimension to the center of that arc. So if I did center point to here, I could get that dimension. Where's that center? And also likewise this way. About from there to there. There we go. Let's move this one over a little bit. You're getting the hang of it. I'm just kind of putting dimensions on here. Click on that, and then click on that, and just kind of roll that around a little bit so it's not, clean things up so they're not crowded. Okay, I've got a dimension. Go down there and don't forget, if you want to add some stuff in here, I really love to see you guys fill out the title block. It's pretty important. If you remember, I am in part 1, fin 1. So if I go back to my part studio and I click on fin 1 and I click properties, and I'm going to put in the description. It's going to be rocket fin. Oops, fin. Right, category part. I'm going to call this part 1000-250-001, and not dots, dashes. And again, this is just kind of hypothetical. It's a naming convention. I am on, let's say, revision A. Make it a capital. Vendor. This is going to be the ABC Rocket Company. What else? Title 1. Actually, that's where I should have put rocket fin, not description. Let's just change that. I'm going to cut that. Cut. I'm going to put it under Title 1. Control V. Yep. All right, and I can add some more things. I'm just going to apply and close. So now those parameters, those criteria, those features are saved. And if I go back to the drawing, again, so remember I added some parameters, so I added different features to the title block here. but I have to update from the workspace. So I have to update so it adds those things. And if I do that, bam, there are those things that I added. I guess it only took in the rocket fin. So remember, I added some dimensions to that now. So there we go. So this is what you will submit for this assignment on Friday when this is due. I want to see a fin profile drawing with dimensions, add some material to or add some features to the title block, take a screenshot of that, and that's what you'll submit. And again, remember, you have to fit all of your fins on a 6x9 sheet. So whatever that fin profile looks like, just make sure that it fits on there.